I do think it's a scam. I don't think that, there's no benefits to college. I'm not saying that. But I think in by and large, it's a scam. I don't think you get your money's worth for what you're going for. And I would challenge anyone to say that going to a college guarantees a job in this day and age. It doesn't.
I'll also go on record to say that I have friends who didn't have that type of education, and they might be some of my wealthiest friends. Like, not saying that the people I went to college with don't do okay and don't do great, for their situation. But if we're just talking about like on an economic level, some of my guys who really didn't do any of that and were kind of always against the grain of that and just did their own thing.
Yeah.
Kind of poked out a little ahead, because you start to find out that really success is kind of built in a person.
But so kids, it's man, childcare is expensive.
Yeah,
it is.
It's expensive, man.
I couldn't wait for my kids to get into the actual school.
Yeah,
so I could stop paying for that shit.
Man, bro, like I'm not gonna lie to you, like obviously we can go down a rabbit hole, but private school, I think that's where things is going, unfortunately.
We're saying unfortunately. There's some benefits to private school.
No, it is. But what I'm saying
but you
is,
got to pay for it.
Yeah, you do. But I think the public school offering, I think that's going to be sliding down the drain.
Yeah.
From what I can see, a lot of the
it's
bills they're
different
trying to pass
in every area, though. Are you talking about?
They're trying to defund.
Like,
they're trying to defund public schools and push that money towards private institutions. That's where I can see a lot of the bills and a lot of the laws where they're kind of trying to push into. I hope we don't do it though, because I think there's a need for having a public offering instead of just milking us for all the cash we have.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, if you're on the other side of that, milking people for all the cash is a business. So
yeah. School shouldn't be a business,
but it is.
Shouldn't be. Boy, college is the biggest business.
It is.
I mean, dude, like honestly, I think it's the biggest. I mean, look, in my personal opinion, the biggest like hustle and scam in the entire world. It's up there. Okay, I'm not gonna go there, but we'll stay. We'll stay within the
education.
Only because I've had a few dealings this week that have made me question some things.
Okay,
maybe question my life.
Dang,
just laughing about it. Maybe question my life.
Can't be that bad, no, boy.
It's not that bad.
It's good question. It's good. Questions.
How about this? My faith.
Oh, dang.
I still have faith. I'm joking.
Yo, all right, it's your boy Jay.
I'm Thomas.
And I'm Ashley Booker. We're starting out spicy.
Let's go. And this show is called Musing Around the Show. We jump on and just muse on whatever topic we want to talk about. And today we're going to jump straight into it. I have a story to tell to kick us off.
All right.
So we're talking about schooling. One of my kiddos, my oldest, she's going into a new school. And blessed enough to be able to put her in a private school. Not to say that's the only offering that you should do. There's great public schools out there. But
where?
Clayton.
That was a joke. All right, but go ahead.
All the rich areas.
There are some out there, guys. I'm just fucking around. Right.
Go to the rich areas. No fun.
Hey, I'm a product of public school.
Me too.
You too.
Me too.
I'm not.
Me too.
Me too.
That's why I wear Neo glasses.
I didn't have a bad experience with public schools.
I didn't either. Really.
I mean, look, it had its own quirks, but I think those quirks would exist at other schools, like racist comments, stuff like that.
Burning crosses and. I'm like, whoa, holy shit!
You choose your friends at these schools.
You gotta be careful. You're gonna get fucked up.
No, real talk. Real talk.
It was like a damn jail yard.
My son's little buddy came down to the house. My son's in there eating dinner or whatever. He's like, I'm outside working.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, can Kobe come out? I'm like, well, he's eating dinner right now. And I jacked your story time.
No, go ahead.
But he's like, well, hey, I'm going to be down at Tony's house or something like that. Just come get me. I'm like, I don't know Tony. I don't know Tony's dad.
Come on. Hey.
I'm a black man in America.
Man.
I'm not going down to Tony's house to get you from shit. We'll text your mom, tell him that Kobe's done with dinner, then you coming over. I'm not going to no strange man's house to
man.
say, hey, Maverick, come play.
Nah,
what I'm saying? That's
that
just
feel weird anyways.
Look, get out. They gonna be like, oh man, you're athletic. They start feeling your arms and shit.
Where'd you come from?
Hey, give him some tea. Public school? Public school.
Yeah, your kid can stay tonight.
Oh, hey.
We can work with this. We can work with this.
Yeah, man. I always have sleepover for my kids. I cook up stuff at nighttime. Wait, what? You know what, buddy? No.
What you talking about?
But yeah, look, every school, that stuff, will go no matter what school you go to. Whatever. But funny maybe not so funny story. So my kid's going to this new school. We did a tour of the school. Amazing, pretty cool school from what I can see in general. A lot of great things to say about it. But they have this like thing they do for all the kids that start. They they have like a dinner at the house of the owner of the school type of a deal. You know what I'm saying?
Like dinner with the dean.
Yeah, that type of vibe. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take full advantage of this private school lifestyle. I'm gonna go and then mingle and network, that type of thing. Not that that's my only focus.
So you one-on-one with the dean, or there's other families there?
Everyone.
Oh,
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, like this, cool. I'll take advantage of this networking, that type of thing, whatever. So I'm all right, cool. And I'm not gonna lie, this is not something I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so jazzed up to do this. I'm just like, all right, cool. I know I gotta do this thing for my kid. I definitely want to make sure my kid's in a good environment. But sometimes things could go left, like with those type of events in general. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on like how it's put on. So I'm just like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? I've been to things in the past that's not terrible, but like, how can I say this? Parent groups are not the same as normal social setting groups, because you got some people who's like into their kids that sounds weird to say, but into their kids where like that's all they talk about. And it gets like a little weird on some of the subjects they talk about, because it's like this weird in crowd of the parent groups. It's like PTA, the parent teacher PTA,
right?
PTA,
Teacher
right?
Association.
Yeah, PTA. It's like PTA. You know how like you find some people in PTA that can be a little bit off, too much into it. It's like,
Get a life.
Yeah, like a little too much. So sometimes like conversations can get a little like, you know what? I'm gonna go get some more punch. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I'm all right, cool. Let's go to this place. We're going to the dinner, and I'm driving out to it, and I'm coming from my place of work, and I'm driving to it. And as I'm driving to it, I'm like, all right, cool. Where is it at? I was just punching the address. It's 20 minutes away. Cool. And I see where it's located, and out where I am, like, it's a little further into wine country, if you will. And I'm just like, okay, this feels like I'm driving a little bit of nowhere, in the middle of nowhere. And I'm driving to it and like going off into some roads, and I'm used to driving in this general area, but it's like off the beaten path. And then I get to the place where this is, and I make a left, and it's in this private driveway, Rock Road, and you see like one house here, and you see another house. No, you don't see another house. You have a road that goes forks to the right to one house. You see a bunch of cars like in the grass and different things like that. Usual suspects for the
How
area.
were the cars in the grass though? Did all of them have wheels?
It looked, I ain't gonna lie, it looked
kind of
the
like
first
stacked on top of each other type shit. Like,
Look,
was it Sanford and Son?
Nah,
house?
it wasn't that bad. This the country, and there was some really nice houses out that way.
Yeah. I think I know the area you're talking about. That's where I want to go.
Yeah, it's
some space out there.
Yeah, it's definitely some estates. It was some nice, but this one had like country vibes, but like, I don't know if I want to pull up to this house because I don't know what I'm going to deal with. And then there's that road, right? That go into that house. And it's like a ranch, whatever. Then there's another road and a left. Yeah, and like you make a left, you know what I'm saying, and go to this. And you can't see where you're going. You just so I drive. And mind you, I have this thing in my mind. All right, cool, I'm going to this private school dinner, whatever, cool. So I make my left and I'm driving, and you go past a little bridge. I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, whatever. And I go past the bridge and I see cars parked in the grass. I'm like, okay, well, cars parked in the grass is different, but all right. Going to a private dinner, baby. It was good. So I'm driving, and as I'm driving, you go into the woods, and then you start driving up a hill. And as I'm driving up this hill, I see more cars parked into like the grass and trees. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, bro, yo, are we driving into a cult? Like, what we doing, baby?
You pull up and there's a bonfire and some
like,
white hoods.
Man, like, Well, yeah, my mind thought about a lot of
What we
things.
doing?
I was just like, yo, I see all cars parked.
You're the
in
guest of
woods.
honor?
Yes. So like,
Put y'all on the grill.
Here he comes, y'all.
yo, the whole vibes. I'm thinking like, yo, this is about to be a sacrifice, and I'm thinking in my head like, yo, my wife just signed us up for a sacrifice. So I'm just like, yo, mind you, I drive a truck daily. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, this is perfect for where I'm driving right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm driving up, see more cars parked in the middle, like between trees and stuff like that. And then you crest over the hill, and then you see like this house, and then like kids playing and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh, okay. But like all the cars are just parked in the forest area and stuff like that. I'm getting
Find
this.
you a spot. Find you a spot in the forest.
Yeah, so you kind of gotta like, literally find your spot in the forest.
Actually,
Bro.
feel like, nah.
I'm backing in. They're gonna be like, damn, like
I'm a park here and I'm a Uber to the
easy
house.
access. We gonna get in this car and get the hell out of here.
Listen, when I tell you, first off, I'm in a truck, so I can. All right, cool, whatever. I can park anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still like, bro, this, yo, where we at, baby? Like, what we doing? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just like, yo, this don't feel like, this ain't giving me vibes of like what I envisioned. Not to say what I envisioned was correct, but it still didn't give me what I envisioned. So I'm just like, dang, okay. So I step out the car. My wife pull up and she looking even crazier, like, bro, where in the world? And she was like, yeah, I don't want to park by a tree. He's like, nah, you park it up front. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? So she parked right where the house is and whatnot. And we get out, but it's raining. On top of that, it starts to rain. And then I see people starting to walk back to their cars. And I'm just like, we're not really super late. And I'm just thinking like, bruh, like, I low-key don't even want to get out my car and go and do what we got to do because it's a meet and greet with the teachers and family. The kids can meet people in their class, that type of deal. But I'm all right, cool. We'll do it. We get out.
So everybody was going, the one inside? Nothing was going on
No,
inside?
they were outside.
Oh, man, it's raining, though.
And they had no umbrellas.
There's no tents or nothing like that?
Had no umbrellas.
What is this?
This wasn't set up right. They need a new planner.
Yo, don't
They
ask
need a
me
new
that. Don't
event
ask-
planner. Would you ask? You ask?
No, we're not gonna go there. So I'm leaving everything out of this because look, it was a beautiful home. I would say this, and generally speaking, everybody was very nice. It was just it was more off-putting because that's not what I expected. So I get out my car, and I'm walking with the kids over to the
Had
area.
this black man out in the rain with their hair like that too. Man, they knew what they was doing.
No, I had a raincoat on.
You had your
Bro, I
umbrella
had a
too. You said,
I had a raincoat, hood up, bro. I look, my kids
I know
had
that's
rain
right.
boots on. You know what I'm saying? The
Fucking
only
tear up,
one
boy.
wasn't dressed. Like my wife had these like see-through like shoes on that like had holes in it. I'm like, you're not dressed
you
for the
about to
part.
be damp right there in your feet.
So we pull up to the joint. We walk in. You know, you walk in. Everyone's looking like, who's this? Okay, cool. And we're walking up, and I know they looking at us. So we looking
You know
at.
why they look?
I was looking.
Main events here.
Listen. I swear I was thinking of like a particular movie. What's it called?
Get out.
I surely is hungry.
Master gonna feed us,
Bro,
We can't even go in the house.
bro. I promise you.
Jesus.
And mind you, I'm painting this picture. Like again, very nice people I met. They got picnic tables out in the backyard, and they got
Very
a
much,
pond in the
very
back with a little pier. So it's on a beautiful
house,
day. It would have been
beautiful
great.
house, yeah.
But like, and you got people just standing around. It's drizzling. No one has like a umbrella or anything, and they're just chilling. And I'm just like, y'all, it's kind of raining. You know what I'm saying? And they got food on a picnic table. And like, we walk up and we're trying to find like the teacher. We eventually found the teacher and like the principal, all that stuff like that. They're nice and introducing. They're like, yeah, like get some food, get something to eat.
Cool.
You know, the food's covered. I look over the table, the food's not covered. And I'm just like,
Flies coming off that.
I mean, yeah.
Potato salad ain't on no ice and shit. What
I
is
mean,
going
listen.
Are those raisins?
Yo, man.
Delicious.
It was drizzling too, you know what I'm saying? And like
the raisins in there?
yo, and I know people had to be looking at me like They was looking
They
at
was
us.
looking to hope you brought some good food.
Man,
Oh, this
look,
motherfucker brought some.
bro,
good
we brought some
potato
fruit.
salad.
We brought some fruit. We brought some fruit. And my kid like, yeah, we brought fruit. And I'm just like, yeah, put that back. We
ain't staying long, baby.
oh, listen. And then my wife, like, she make it worse because she's like, she's sitting there and like I'm throwing hints like, yeah, you know what, we gonna go see the teacher, but you know we probably gonna dip.
Got things.
You know what I'm saying? And she like, oh yeah. And then when she get there, she's like, hey, let's look around. We're gonna get some food. And she was like, yeah, you can sit on the porch, you know, where it's covered a little bit. You know what I'm saying? If you want to. And then my wife's like, yeah, I'm gonna go get some food. I'm looking like,
No, don't get cozy.
I don't know about no food. You know what I'm saying? And so then we go do that, and I'm looking around, and I know people looking at me because I'm looking. I probably had the craziest look on my face walking up. I'm just like, bro, what is y'all doing, bro? Where are we at right now, bro? I got kids running in the field. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm looking for like who got the knife in their hand to sacrifice me. I'm just trying to figure out all these things. You know, I see. You know, it's a variety of different people there, so I'm just like, all right, cool. All right, maybe I'm not the sacrifice. It kind of gave off, without really talking to anyone, it gave off cult vibes.
So we going to this school or what?
Yeah, my kid's still going.
He started Monday.
My kid's still going. My kid's still going. We got out of Dodge.
End the story.
Yeah.
I drank some Kool-Aid and that was
Oh, bro.
I
When I
said,
was like,
fuck it. Yeah, you still gotta go here.
oh, man. All right, listen. I put it like this. I don't know if I'm going to go to any more of those little events. But, well, I might.
Yeah,
I might.
I mean,
But I don't know. Not out there like that. I'm going to skip those. And my wife, when we got in the car, she was like, yeah, I kind of I didn't really want to get in to eat, but I didn't want to be mean. I'm like, be mean? It's raining, bro. Like,
shit's soggy
like what?
and shit ain't covered.
Man.
What you?
Wait, what?
And shit ain't flavored. Wait,
Yeah, I
it
didn't
ain't
taste it.
seasoned.
I didn't taste
All
it.
right. It's okay though.
I didn't taste
I'm
it.
sure it's good.
A Lowry's can.
I'm sure it's
anywhere.
delicious.
Bro, I didn't
I'm
taste
sure
it.
it's delicious.
I didn't taste it, bro. I just like, bro.
I like raisins. I mean, fuck.
Nah, bro. I just,
Ain't no color on this chicken.
yo, bro.
Why the fuck is it still soggy in the middle? Like, is this medium rare chicken? Like, yo.
It was a potluck, man. Like,
Oh,
I don't know. But people was taking back their dishes. I was like, okay, well, you know what?
That's probably
Full
good.
dishes.
Throwing that shit in the trash.
If you see the table, nobody's sitting there, but plates full. That's a sign, bro. Nobody's sitting there, and that plate is there.
Listen, I'm
Ain't
sure.
nobody eating.
In my head, I was like,
Everybody's being
get
polite.
We'll get some on the way home.
You know what I'm saying?
hey, look.
We'll grab some on the way home. No worries.
Hey, yo, Ash, I swear, I was like, my wife was like, yeah, baby, we get a cookie. She wants some Cheetos. Like, man, she ain't getting no Cheetos, man. I said, look, we finna go eat.
You
something
might
to
be
eat.
safe with the Cheetos.
We're gonna go out to
bro.
eat.
Oh, man. And deep with it.
Little red 40, red
No.
40, hot orange 90, whatever
bro,
the fuck.
exactly.
No, but go ahead.
Trash. Trash. Bro, when I tell you we stayed for like 3 minutes, we stayed for like 3 minutes, bro. We was in and I was gone, bro. And I was laughing the whole way, like back, like, bro, what in the world do I said? I told my wife, like, bro, you almost got a sacrifice, bro.
That's all right, man. I went in public school. I took my kid to school today. He had to get the tissue boxes. He had to
Yeah.
buy the teacher
The
all
drop-off.
the supplies.
Holy.
They just tax you. Then I'm giving.
It's a scam, bro.
You got $10. I'm like, no.
$10?
Yeah. What for?
The hell?
Here. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's this for? We just shop.
What are we
for-
talking about?
We just shop for the teacher,
Bro.
No, man. It's just a.
I don't
Bro.
understand this new world we live
And
in.
the private schools do the same thing too.
Oh, it's worse.
You gotta buy.
a
All.
Make
racket.
this make
But
sense,
man,
man.
It's a
I don't
racket.
know. Is there no money in the school?
Nah, bro, they just want to control their margins with your money. Yeah. Now, public kind of makes sense a little bit. Like, all right,
I mean,
cool.
you're paying taxes.
Yeah, but
So
like
the school should be.
it should be. But like, look, they only got so many funds to go. Like, you're not
Oh,
paying
that's-
monthly. You're not paying monthly to go to the school.
But depending on the property value of the surrounding area.
No, they get taxes.
Oh, you're
They're
saying
getting
some
some
public
money.
schools we ain't bringing shit.
They
They
get
got
taxes.
the tissue
They
boxes
getting the
there
money.
already, yeah.
But it's not, bro. It's not,
Somebody's getting the money.
bro. It's not like the private schools though.
Yeah.
They get money per head.
Per head, but also what happens is depending
Crazy.
on private school, you have donations. And I mean, as a person with the private school, like every month I get an envelope mailed to my house. Like, hey Ash, like.
Get your name on
I
this
don't
library?
have a kid there. I don't have anything going on there. And the thing is that, but they're asking for money of all the alumni. Correct. So what happens is sometimes with private schools, depending on the alumni, people donate money and don't even have kids there.
I get it.
And then you have the tuition that's being paid, and then
you're asking for supplies,
right? And then what they do is they also put stipulation. They're like, hey, well. Oh yeah, well now you have to purchase this laptop. You have to get this and this. You have to get this and this. You have to get these books. Yeah. We had to buy our books. Look, at my private school I went to, we had to buy books. We had to buy all our supplies. We had to do everything. Nothing was like given to us. Yeah. So like if you didn't, it was almost very college style, meaning that like
a la carte.
Well, yeah, like if you were a poor kid. You better find out a way. Well, first, and then second, or you'll be doing
How'd
something.
You get here? My dad's a janitor,
or some financial, or you'll be the janitor. That's what they'll do. They'll put your ass to work. You gonna work them books off. You hear me? So like,
it can't be. You the lunch lady and a student. You know
I think that. I think that that's what happens. I think that what happens is that you find that you have all of this stuff that has to be brought to the table. Plus, you have the exorbitant tuition. Plus, you have probably donation from people who are really well off, like or alumni, or even parents of kids that are in school that just have extra.
Yeah,
and want their kids to get make the team and stuff. They'll
of course
give a little extra.
No, I had a partner who he ended up going back to my school, but he went to a private school just to play some sports.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Man, fuck, this ain't for me. Like, I can't keep up with the workload.
Well,
and they want you to be
it wasn't for me. But you know what happened? My mama wouldn't let me leave.
Yeah, she said, "You staying? This is for you."
My mama looked me in my face and said, "You ain't going nowhere."
Hey, right, this your meal ticket, baby.
Yeah, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
kid.
Nah.
Yeah, man.
And then there's benefits.
There are some benefits. I believe that depending on the curriculum, depending on where you're sending your kids, I believe that sometimes you can get enough education very early. Now, this is going to be very much something you guys can push back on this. I think that you potentially may not even need college. I think that you'll get so much stuff. Now, in your field, if it dictates that.
You have to. If you're a lawyer,
if you have to, right, correct. But if you are just talking about just your basis of skills to be able to survive, I think public schools give it to you too, to be honest. But the thing is that either way it goes, I think you come out of these institutions, whether it's public or even private. I can't even justify college a lot of times because I could say that I stopped learning after high school. I think I started learning after I got out of college again, because then I learned the real world, life, right? Yeah. But when I was in college, I feel like it was just more like task oriented, meaning that like, hey, we know you're at this pop-in college campus. If I give you an assignment, can you get it done? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like prove to me
that you can kind of fight through the noise of life and get a task done. It wasn't really the fact of being challenging. Does that make sense? Yeah. And I'm not saying that's for every
college,
right. Now, I'm not saying I went to a state school, so to preface it, I went to a state school, so it wasn't like I went to like Harvard or some shit.
MIT.
Or MIT or something crazy. Like, but I would definitely say is that I think there is still a common denominator with all of those schools that it's more task oriented. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that, they give you these tasks and can you
complete it?
Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that's pretty much, college is like the cherry on top of the cake to get everybody that final programming touch to get into the workforce.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. I feel like overall, I'll go a step further. I feel like at this point in the game, college is almost a scam. For some very few fields, it makes sense. But I think the rest, man, it's almost a scam, man. Because you got to think like, if let's say you're doing it for IT, right? For a comp sci degree or something like that. Like, there's probably maybe like 15% of your electives is probably going to apply for actual job. Unless like you're at MIT and like you got a wealth of different classes that's incorporated that's going to speak to like a specialization or you get into a particular field. But for the bulk, even at that school, at the bulk, like you got a bunch of regular classes you got to take, right? Irregardless of what college you go to.
Agreed.
Right? And how of those classes, you're probably going to use almost none of that stuff.
I would say almost none.
Yeah.
Because I think even if you talk to a person, and I know some people who went to like some of these great schools, like these great institutions of Harvard and all of these blue schools, right? Guess what? They come out and they're just as confused as I was and as everyone else is when you hit the real world. You still got to figure it out. Like, and I think that most people will tell you that I didn't learn shit until I started day one out here.
No, agreed.
You know what I mean? Now I start to learn. Now you get your basis. Like now you're going to take your licks. You know what I mean? Obviously, if you get into your field, let's say you start IT, boom, you get to IT. Once you start doing IT and working for companies, you learn.
No.
Now you have the basis. I mean, I agree. You're right.
No, you don't.
He said, but see, here we go.
You
See, I was
don't.
trying to give it a benefit. Yeah,
Look, my background was a little unorthodox, but I'm not gonna get into that. But I will simply say you don't, because when you college teaches you theory, point blank.
That's it.
You can put it across any field, right? That doctors, all that, right? Like when you get into practice of it, right? And you do what do you call that?
Residencies and all that. Yep.
That's when you're getting your practice, which is akin to when you're doing an intern or you get your first job in IT and stuff like that. But the point is they teach you theory. So like they'll teach you an object-oriented language, right? Let's say Java, right? They teach you that. You understand the principles of an object-oriented language. I'm gonna get into like typical comp sci programming emphasis type of a deal, right? But when you get on job, you actually learn the languages that businesses use to code in to create applications.
See?
And like the internships is the emphasis of where you kind of get that experience. So I'm saying this to say they teach you like the tools in the tool belt, but they don't teach you the most efficient tools to use that currently people are using out in the field. It's like, I'm going to explain to you how to use a hammer and a Phillips screwdriver, but you're probably going to be out in the field. You're probably going to use like a regular drill, you know what I'm saying? Or you're going to use a power tool.
I agree.
You're probably not going to be
But I
using
think
the Phillips.
that's where the scam is.
But there's benefits of knowing what a Phillips screwdriver and hammer is. But if you ask yourself, should I be paying like $30K a year to figure out what a Phillips screwdriver and a hammer is?
Go out there and figure it out.
I still feel like it should still be more of a thing of, if I was in charge of the educational system, this is the way it would work. Kids get their basics.
Yeah.
Once they get their basics, meaning you can write, you can read, you can add, you can subtract, you can divide, you can multiply. Basic.
Fractions.
You damn near don't even have to do that. I mean, today.
Man,
I'm just saying. So therefore, at the end of the day, let's just say the basics. Okay, I know how to count my money. I know how to deduct. I know how to do all this stuff. Right.
To measure stuff. You know I measure.
Right. Now it's like I think you start to kind of gear towards potential things that you might want to do in life. I always say apprenticeship is always the best thing because honestly, that's what we all enter into when we get into the real world. We end up getting with somebody who has experience, right? Somebody who's probably a senior person in whatever field. I don't care. Even when I got in the music business or whatever, there's a senior person who's been there, who's done it, and they're teaching you on the daily how you don't know shit, pretty much. Yeah. And therefore, it's like you're learning on the daily. Right. Well, it is. I think I don't care what field you go into. It's a complete and total re-education once you do it for real. That's why there's always a pushback whenever somebody, like, if you take like a real person who's built a business and they go to like some business school, they'll fucking argue a professor into the ground. They'll be like, that is not how it goes. Yeah. I own a business. I run businesses. I understand how it really works. Right. Like, you're feeding these kids a bunch of bullshit theory, which Jay was just hitting on, is that, okay, so we're paying, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars for theory. We're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then at that, some kids aren't paying it. They are actually incurring debt of hundreds of thousands of dollars for theory to come out and still not know what the hell they're going to do. Man. And then they come out, they're strapped in debt, right? Is this what happens?
That's exactly what happens.
Right, you're strapped in debt.
And it's going to get worse.
And you're beginning your life strapped in debt already. You're not married yet. You haven't purchased your first home yet. You haven't got your vehicles. You haven't done any of that. You haven't started popping kids. You haven't done all of that, but you're still in debt to this institution and then teach you shit about how you really survive in the real world.
Now, it's It's atrocious, man.
It's atrocious. If you really think about it,
It's a
it might
scam.
be the biggest, one of the worst things. And then when you start to, and on TikTok, this has been kind of popular, but how they show like even high school and things of that nature, how they look like prisons. If you really think about it, the bell, the come on the rooms, the lunchroom, the caf, how everybody's segregated, how everything is, it's like going to the joint. You have to be there. Nobody really wants to be there. Nobody's like, oh, yay, I got to go to school today. We're forced to go to school, right? We got to sit there for fucking 9 hours or whatever, 8 hours, and go through and force ourselves to be interested in things that we'll never use and we're not interested in, right?
Recess out on the yard.
Have recess on the yard. Go eat lunch with your group of people that you associate with, right? Go back to class. And then when that bell rings, you feel free. You almost get another burst of energy. I remember I get out of school, I'm like, oh. I'll be tired as fuck when I'm there because I'm dead on the inside. But then when I get out, I'm like, oh. Now I'm free. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do right now.
But like, and I'm not going to get too deep in this, but I will just touch the surface and say, well, if you don't know the history behind why the school system existed. And look, here's the thing. I'm not generally against education. I think people will trick you out of what you're supposed to have with knowledge, 10,000%. But what I'm about to say is this, like the whole reason of how education and the school systems and what's in place right now came about was to train a workforce that knew how to take instructions, right? For the blue collar jobs to come in and know how to take instructions, right? Be used to being able to take instructions, complete tasks, and get assignments done, right? Training that mindset. Because you got to think before, again, I'm just touching the surface. Before all of that, right? People did for themselves, right? It was a different attitude. So I'm saying this to say this. I do think it's a scam. I don't think that, there's no benefits to college. I'm not saying that. But I think by and large, it's a scam. I don't think you get your money's worth for what you're going for. And I would challenge anyone to say that going to a college guarantees a job in this day and age. It doesn't.
I'll also go on record to say that I have friends who didn't have that type of education, and they might be some of my wealthiest friends. Like, not saying that the people I went to college with don't do okay and don't do great, for their situation. But if we're just talking about like on an economic level, some of my guys who really didn't do any of that and were kind of always against the grain of that and just did their own thing. Yeah. Kind of poked out a little ahead because you start to find out that really success is kind of built in a person. And it goes back to the fact of private or public school. I got people who went to school with me that are losers, and just like as well as people who went to public schools that are losers, and I got there's people who went to public schools that are controlling the world, and there's people who come from private schools that control the world. It's all the same thing because I think it's based upon the person. I think there's a lot that kind of goes into family. Because I think your real education happens at home. So like I think a lot of that has a lot to do with that, and also the kind of person you are. I think that you can still go to a great school and still be very confused when you get out. It's not like, if you go to Harvard or something, there's like some answer when you get out. You're just embedded in debt. And you might have a network. You might know some people. And I think that's cool.
I think that's what it is. And I think that's what you can go for.
But I think network.
Get to know folks.
But guess what though? But network only works. And hear me out on this. Network only works when you are a networking type of person. What if you're a person who goes there and you can't really find a way to fit in? Because it's just like any place else. Of course, you still got to fit in some way, right?
No, I agree, and that's
like it's like no matter what school you go to, it's about the in crowd and the out crowd and this crowd and that crowd. So I could be at Harvard and be in the out crowd, you know what I mean, or not fit into some certain social constructs there. Correct. My family might not be rich enough for me to be a part of this, or I might look a little different. I might be out here
different background,
it's just
different
depending.
culture.
I'm not saying that you can't overcome those things. I'm saying that you still might end up
having challenges.
I went there and I didn't really get a network.
No,
I don't know what I mean.
I agree, but that's why I was going to circle back around and say I think the next generation, this is going to become much more of an emphasis.
I think it already is because people are interconnected differently.
Of course, But I think you're gonna have to be more intentional about what you're looking to get from the current system that's at play, right? So if I was the younger generation, and I was going to high school, and by the way, in Japan, how they have it is up to middle school is like general education. High
great.
school is you go to a high school that specializes in the career that you're trying to go down.
And I think that's great.
I think that's the better way to do it personally.
that's
That's kind of
great.
what Ash was describing earlier. Because then you start to understand early on, and you're not necessarily maybe not paying for it. Like, hey, do I really want to do this? Like, that's a hard lesson to learn, to go to a college and pay for two years, and you find out that you want to change degrees after 2 years, right? That's a hard lesson to pay for.
Or all four.
All four.
Shit, a lot of people go through and then they end up doing something
Facts.
completely, totally different than what their actual degrees in.
Facts, and they may end up going back to get emphasis in something else.
Correct.
So I'm saying this to say, like, I think being intentional with understanding, hey, you know what? Even as parents, my kid has an interest in, they want to be a veterinarian, right? Or they want to be a doctor, right? You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. Then I'm going to put my kid down a path that sets them up for success with that.
Correct.
But if I'm like, my kid doesn't care about any of those things, doesn't want to get into computers, wants to work with their hands, don't put your kid in college.
No, it's a waste of money.
Put your kid in a trade school, have them go for something where they can emphasize and get a learning. Because you know what? Quite honestly, we talked about before in previous podcasts, say it again, those are the jobs that pay the most money and probably will continue to pay the most money, because you can't have someone come in and easily replace and do that. And they are losing people in their field.
Correct.
But I'm saying is, but if you do want to go for, even if you want to go for coding or something like that, shoot, man, you can go put yourself in a coding camp. Now, I'm not going to lie and say there's some jobs you'll face barriers without having a degree. Because unfortunately, like, that's still a checkpoint, right? You know, like, to get past into management and go higher, you can get it without a degree or multitude of degrees, right? Because you got associates, bachelors, masters. Bachelor's, undergrad is like the basic, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying it goes up, you know what I'm saying? But my point is,
very rare you're going to have a VP or general manager of a big company without a degree. It is, well, it's rare. And like, but the funny thing is, what rules more in companies is experience.
100%.
Like, degree gets you open the door to the next level, but experience and networking is what gets you there.
Networking,
Right,
I would say, over experience.
Network, I say it's a marriage. It's a marriage.
Yeah, it is a marriage.
It's a marriage.
Yeah, it's a marriage.
Because you got to kind of have both, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think that, like, if you have, like, the experience, I think that was the hardest part for me to swallow when I got out of college. Was I was like, everywhere I applied was like, well, I have no experience. Yep. So it was just like, oh, okay, well, hey guys, how do I get experience if nobody will hire me?
Facts.
You know what I mean? And so it's this weird predicament that a lot of people get into when they get out of school, because it's like, every place is like, yeah, if you have 10 years of experience, yeah, if you got like, you know, and it's like, well, how do I get 10 years of experience if nobody will hire me now?
It's a conundrum.
You know what I mean? Right. It's this weird thing. And then that's when, okay, maybe some relationships, maybe some networking can kind of come and play where somebody gives you a chance, right?
Correct.
Then now you in the door, now you kind of get your experience, you get some things. But then we start to get to, I guess, to the point of upper management, you start to find that, yeah, you're right. It starts to be like kind of a little bit hard pressed, but a lot of times in theory, okay, guys, I'm talking in theory, at most like corporate places, people put in a lot of time too. So meaning that if I'm there for, you know, I mean, when you're talking about getting to a VP or getting high, they probably put in a significant amount of time at the company, meaning that they might have been able to go back, accumulate some degrees on the tab of the actual place they're working for. You know what I mean? Or just like to speak to the point of experience. Hey, I just been here for 25 years and I understand how this goes. I played the politic game right. I've done everything in accordance to kind of put myself in position. I worked longer hours. I just did different things than the normal person who worked here, right? Now I'm in a position to kind of get a VP. But to speak to that is that, but then the person who founds the place may not have any of that. Yeah. And that was always been the thing that I always battled with. Where I was like, well, whoa, wait a minute. It's like, because the person who normally creates sometimes has to kind of be a little bit of an outside thinker, right? Like, not saying that a person can't come from that background and not bridge off and become a founder or something else. They can.
Plenty do.
Right. Not saying that. I'm just saying, in theory, a lot of times the opportunity is given from a person, the risk taker, who kind of went out there. And I'm not saying this works for everyone either, because that's why it's risk. The risk level is way higher, right? Of failure, right? But the thing is that I would definitely say is that it's a different mindset of when a person just kind of, there's something in school that kind of makes you anti risk, anti taking a chance, and more comfortable with conservative and more comfortable with giving objectives, and you fulfill your objectives so you actually know where you're at. Because I would tell you that's the hardest part of being an entrepreneur, is that sometimes you don't know where you're at. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the checkpoints are always being made. You know what I mean? But obviously, if I'm given a list of directives, I know how, okay, well, I completed my list today.
Yeah.
So then I know where I'm at. You know what I mean?
And I think the college aspects that gets to some of that is like the master's program.
Correct.
But then at that point is like you've already spent gobs of money to then at that point challenge you to have more of an entrepreneurship. Like, cause like you got a lot of master business programs that like, hey, go out there and create a business, right? And like, but like,
it's still,
I'm going to pay you to go for me to come in and create a business.
I could have not even went here and just started and learned.
No,
you know what? I'm just being 100%. I could have just got out of high school and just hit the ground running.
All just now, like we couldn't teach ourselves this stuff.
Correct.
Back in the day.
We could,
but it's a lot harder.
No, okay, look,
it's a lot harder.
This is what I'm gonna challenge you. Back in the day, we just did all these things. Mm. Like, think back in the day, we didn't have to pay. We definitely didn't have to pay as much as we did. At one point, it was free to go to school.
And schools should be free, by the way, because they pay taxes. Yeah. Schools should be free. College should be free.
Hold on.
In a lot of countries, go ahead. Jay's gonna speak on this. In a lot of countries, your college education is free.
It is free.
Go ahead.
In the United States, back in the day, we didn't pay for college.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Correct.
And if we did, we paid very little for college.
It's very little, especially if you're in state. It's like damn near next to nothing, man.
The sad part is, I'm going back when. The sad part is, and I hate to say it like this, but it's the sad part. Once you had a lot of laws passed that gave people of color more rights, right? You start seeing there was a switch, and I have to pull up the dates, and then they start charging for education. And you can argue back and forth, but some of the thought was it was a barrier of allowing people in to certain positions, right? Because they wouldn't be able to afford it.
It is.
They wouldn't be able to afford it, right? And this, I'm not just speaking on hypotheticals. This is what played out, right? So I'm saying this to say, like, we live in a country where education was free, right? It wasn't always like this. That's where I'm just like, man, we're such in a backwards place. I don't even think it benefits us as a country as a whole, because you got to think, at some point, you got AI and all these things that's accelerating, right? That's improving how you can go out and source information, right? Internet, all those things came along. It's easy. It's more accessible for you to obtain information. I can go on YouTube and teach myself how to code.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we didn't have that back then.
But you could also read a book and teach yourself how to do something.
But right? It takes a little longer than
it does. I'm not saying it got
in the world we live in. I would definitely agree with him in saying that it is way more accessible to where I honestly look at a lot of people that are Gen Z that are around me that and sometimes I have to kind of like cringe when they tell me they don't know how to do something. I'll be like, how do you not know how to do something in the age that we live in? You know what I mean?
No, it's easier.
I mean, it's way easier.
It's easier.
Information isn't gate kept the way it was. It's always gatekeeping. I'm not going there. I'm just saying that.
Still is.
Yeah, but I would definitely say that the gatekeeping is less because information is so
free.
Where before it costs. Like, okay, let's just go back to the times he was talking about. Let's just go back to the education, where they did try to put a little bit of a barrier of
price,
economic status for a person being able to get to a certain library, or to be able to get the actual information that lies in the books, or to get the network of where you could potentially learn from others who might have been shown a different view of this world. You know what I mean? And they put a barrier of finances, and I think that that's just what the system that has just constantly just kept going and going and going and going and just compounding and compounding and compounding to where now I think we're all kind of waking up in consensus of being like, this is ridiculous at this point.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's even necessary at this point. And and to speak to your point, I think it definitely holds our country back because when you have other countries in the world that don't do that.
Yeah.
Like legitimately education is free. If a person wants it, they can get it.
Man.
If you're a citizen of that country,
no,
they want you to have that.
It's the betterment of society.
It's the betterment of society. If I make it accessible to everyone, why wouldn't I want, if a person has a want, I don't care what person it is in the United States, has a want for higher education, they should be able to go get it.
Oh, man,
now listen, if they fell out, that's on them. Yeah. But they should have the opportunity to go.
I would say, look, I would be happy if they did this. The first go around is free. If you want to do something extra on top of that, pay for it.
I would say this. I say everything's free. You just had to maintain a level.
No,
meaning that like if your grades, if you come in there and you're not serious, you're fucking around, you're not going to be here on the dime of the government. Get out of here. You know what I mean?
I'm fine. Right. I'm fine with that.
I could live with that.
I was even thinking from a stair step. If people are too concerned about, well, we can't take away everything, cool, just give them a free ride for the first to go around. But I'm fine with everything being free because I think it should be.
I think everything should be free.
I definitely think it should.
If you can maintain the whatever the curriculum is, and that's what they show in a lot of other countries is that if you maintain the academic curriculum, like if you maintain the academic prowess to stay in certain programs, you can stay in them. They'll keep paying for it. Cool. You know what I mean?
What do you think, Thomas?
No, it's free now. YouTube University. You know what I'm saying?
No, it is.
It's a lot of stuff that you can learn with AI and all that where you can figure it out yourself.
It is, but the barrier still exists for hitting. Look, to be an entrepreneurship, best time ever.
Great.
Best time ever. But I'm gonna be real with you. Here's the cold hard facts. I'm gonna be real. Look at the camera saying that.
Talk to them, man.
Everybody's not an entrepreneur.
No. And I wouldn't even recommend this shit for everybody.
Everyone's not even meant to be an entrepreneur. So I hate when people say, well, everyone can get out here. Everyone's not going to do that.
No, you can't.
Because you still need someone to work for you. So let's be real. Everyone's not. So if you put that aside, there's going to be a subset of people who's actually going to go for entrepreneurship because you got to bang your head against the wall enough times before you start making the money. That's the reality of it. But let's say for the people who don't go down that path, right? There's still a barrier for them to hit to the next level in their career when they're working for companies if they don't have the education, how it currently exists. Now, there's moments in time where like some people may have an unorthodox background on how they got to where they are, and I'm saying it's not traditional. Traditional is you went to college for 4 years, you got your degree, you might want to get a master's, and then as you get these additional degrees, you have upper lateral movement within your career.
And right? and companies a lot of times facilitate that. Once you get in with certain companies, I mean, I just want to speak to that, is that certain companies will pay for your advancement.
No, they will.
Your educational advancement.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? If you're going to add a degree, if you're going to do something more, they'll pay for it.
Because it's the betterment of the company.
It's the betterment of the company. So why they thinking like that?
No, exactly what I would be. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying that to say like that unorthodox is more focused on the fact that like you didn't go the traditional route, quote unquote, to do that, right? But you don't have to technically do that. But the people who even do that aren't the norm. You can't even say, oh, everyone can do that. No, everyone can't do that. Everyone doesn't have the network. Everyone may not have the personality to be able to facilitate themselves in a situation to even get that type of opportunity, right?
Agreed.
There's a lot of different factors going into it. It doesn't make like, oh, this person's too special. It just means that there's things that go into you being able to work a room in your favor that breaks down to skill. Some people have it naturally. Other people have to learn it. So like when you really break it down, the majority of people that currently right now, they have to go for certain degrees or get a certain amount of experience to even qualify for a particular job. And I just think it's a shame. Not that you for the experience route, but for the education route. Because man, there's some brilliant people that just don't have a quote unquote the degree. And it's people who do have a degree that's brilliant. But we would X them out because they didn't do tasks. They didn't prove they went to a school and could pay the school to do tasks really well.
Yeah, I think that is something that I think it kind of works like this. obviously with us all kind of dabbling or in full into being entrepreneurs, you start to realize is that, okay, it's almost like, okay, if I create something, of course you want a task-oriented individual. So you can kind of gauge, okay, if this person went here and they maintained this GPA and they did this and this, they probably, if I give them directive, they're going to do exactly what they're supposed to do. Boom, boom, da-da-da-da. Now, that's not always the case, because then sometimes within that, you'll find a person who may not have done that, and they do the same thing, but then they actually bring you more value. And so then that's where that unconventional path happens. But for them to stand out, sometimes it's like this. It's like coming in like, hey, look, man, I don't have any education. I don't have anything, but I promise you I'm going to work hard for you. I'm going to do everything that's necessary. No. I'm just saying. Yeah. Now you got to look at it as a person who owns a company. No. So then now you're like this. Now you're like, I like them.
How do I believe?
But how do I believe him?
Yeah, but
now this guy's coming from Harvard and he's like, hey, listen, hey guys, look, boom. Hey, I was at Harvard. I was in these committees. I was this.
Ash, I hear you.
I'm not saying I don't believe in this shit. Obviously, I didn't do it.
You're playing devil's advocate.
I'm playing devil's advocate.
I hear you, and I'll play on the other side.
Yeah,
I can hear that, but I would simply state that if you are in, I would say this: we all understand at this table understand what entrepreneurship is. We all have work for ourselves.
Correct.
And dedicated work for ourselves. Some of us in and out more. Other part of us have done it primarily most of our career, right? But my point is, when you have worked for somebody else, what you do understand, especially if you interviewed anyone, you start to understand like going to college does not mean by far and large does not mean that you're a great person to hire for the job.
No.
You could have got straight D's.
Oh, man. You could
you could have made straight A's.
That's what
and be a hard. I've met people who legitimately don't know their head from their asshole, but they made good grades at KU. And I'm God bless you out there. But what I'm trying to tell you is that I saw it to where I was like, listen. This person is going to go into the world and people are going to think that they are. Listen, like it makes me. That's why I'm a type of person. I have that mentality. I don't care if I walk into a doctor's office. I don't care if I'm at the hospital. I don't care where I'm at. I question who the fuck is talking to me. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what school you went to, whatever. You're going to have to prove your intelligence to me because just because you have this thing on the wall doesn't mean you're smart.
Look, and then, so I'm gonna key into that a little bit. And I would simply say this: me looking at it from this standpoint, what I would want more as a business owner is someone who has the hunger. And the problem is, more than not, you find people with less, quote unquote, degrees. And I'm not saying this like if you have less degrees versus someone has more degrees, like the versus each other. I'm just saying this in general. I find that people who have less credentials, right, are more hungry to prove themselves than people who have more credentials. And what I found to be is you get better, like I think you get better results when you have hungrier people working at your company. If I got a team of 5 people, but they're all hungry to be successful in their own way, and I take that up against 5 other people who just have really good credentials, I bet you I beat you. Because my 5 people are going to work twice as hard as let's say your 5 people, let's make it even 5 and 5, they're gonna work twice as hard. And the reason why they're gonna work twice as hard, they got twice as much to prove. And that's already known within this greater, you know what I'm saying, ecosystem. Because you see that reflected.
But then also
can I need a mix of it?
Yeah, can I push back? I'm gonna push.
Go ahead.
I believe sometimes in life, the educational system and everything has a way of categorizing a person like this. In sports, a bench player and a starter. There'll be people on the bench that are better than the starters. They don't have the confidence because they've never felt like they were that. And you have some people who they aren't really that, but they believe they're that, so they are that. Does that make sense?
Of course.
To where sometimes you'll find a person who's like, yo, some big shot, some fucker from fucking Harvard who is really that dude because he just feels that way. He's like, look, I was the top of my class, bro. I was this and this. I was boom, boom, boom. No, what I'm saying is that what I'm saying is that no, what I'm saying is that, but I am that dude. So yeah, I'm not the underdog story. I'm not the person who's like, but he's still I'm delivering. The sought after. Yeah. But no, I'm going to deliver because I'm LeBron James. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not that dude who's trying to get in the NBA. I'm not in the G League.
LeBron James is LeBron James.
No, but you know what I'm saying by that? Like I'm not a G League player trying to make it to the NBA and we're gonna clap for him when he gets out onto the Laker floor. No, I am a dude. I've been starting since the day I was born. I have been the number one in my class here. Then I was number one in my class here. Then I went to Harvard and I was number one there. And then I'm that fucking guy. And give me the goddamn ball, coach.
Listen,
there are some people who just their mentality won't let them lose. You know what I mean?
Look,
because they just are such a winner. They don't even know what lose. They're like, lose? What are you talking about?
Look, you need a little bit of both. Because like you said, you need those guys to be
the
leaders.
Underdogs, they don't believe enough in themselves and they become their own worst enemy. I've seen both in both sides.
Okay, I'll let you go, Thomas.
You need both. You need the guy that is. You need a leader. In every
we're not saying a leader. We're saying a team.
No, we're saying a team.
We the leaders. But okay, we'll say that. We're the leaders.
In the team, you need the leader.
You do okay.
The alpha. Okay. So who would the alpha be?
Look, okay, let me say this.
The leader of the team.
No, who's the alpha?
The credentials.
Is the credential guy the guy who comes in off the street?
The credential guy.
Okay.
Boom.
No, okay. Let me say this.
And the bomb drops.
Let me say this. I think you got special like this is where I feel like on my part people get it twisted. You got special cases. You think of a Harvard, you think of an MIT, you think of a Yale. You start looking at these specific schools that have
Ivy League, scene, whatever.
Yeah, and yes, there's specific a small subset of schools where the environment is so challenging, it's hard not to output someone who's going to come in.
So I'm a tech company. I don't want to go to Stanford.
No. Yeah, that's like MIT too. Yeah,
MIT, Stanford.
So my point is, there you got certain schools that have an environment that's so challenging, it's hard not grabbing their worst student and hitting some gold, right? Nuggets of gold. Right? Because it's just so challenging that the environment and what they're trying to push them into. But
even if you grab their best one.
Okay, cool. Even better. But that's a subset of the greater pool that people are picking from. A subset, a small subset. That's not like you don't got, it's not 90% of the people that you're up against went from Harvard.
Or Stanford.
And even if they did, it's a school. Yeah. That's just one credential.
Yeah, well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think Harvard is like a state school to me.
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say
it's
that.
a credential. You get through it.
Yeah, well, look.
Then you got to prove what you have to do after you get out of school add to your credentials.
Let's put like sports, right? Not me, but most of us here, both of you have done. You've played basketball, right? Right? Have you went to any basketball camps? Mm-hmm. Right? Have you been to any like those elite basketball camps? Mm-hmm. Right? Where they have like NBA players, they have specialized people come in and they train you on specific skill sets, right? Right?
I've been to those. I know you have.
I have.
But do you know of them?
I went to the public school.
Do you know of them?
Yeah,
do you know of them?
But guess what though? Guess what? And that's when I started to learn what I'm telling you is that there are some people in this world.
Right.
But that's my point.
It's just different.
But even you put the worst person who don't make it out at the top level through that camp, right?
Yeah.
They still killing a lot of people.
Yeah, you come back to where you're at and you're still better.
I'm not saying, look, there's special people that's going to go in that and thrive and get.
The top, the creme de la creme is the creme de la creme.
But my point in saying this to what he's saying is the difference like between schools. There's still schools, the environment is going to challenge you so much. You get out of that like, man, I feel dumb, and going to a regular state school and you're like, bro, I feel smart. I'm like the smartest guy in here. You know what I mean?
But then what you doing after school?
And I'm not saying that. And that's why I'm saying like, look, if you went to a base, I hate to say it like this. If you went to a state school, you know what I'm saying? And to me, like, I ain't really tripping off where you went. I don't care about that. But if you went to a state school, right, and you graduated, right, and you're like, all right, cool, whoop, 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 whoop. I'm not looking at that person like they just went to Harvard.
No. But I mean, we're in Missouri.
But Wash U was like the Harvard of here, of the Midwest.
But
Yeah.
I don't see that ain't better than Mizzou.
Oh no, it's better, bro. I'm not gonna hold you.
From a prestigious standpoint, it is.
From prestigious, I mean, honestly, and then you. Okay, I'm gonna speak to it in a different realm. I will say this: the traditional education of it is very good.
Yeah,
but they got some programs there that are just top tier. When you start to talk about medicine, that's why you have. I mean, this is the one
pharmacy
pro about
school.
St. Louis. In St. Louis, this is why I say one pro about St. Louis is that we got some hellified doctors here because of the institutions that are in here. We have WashU, we have SLU. It's some of the best medical institutions in the world. People come here from across the country, actually across the world.
Children's Hospital.
To get
the medical school.
For the medical, and that's why our hospitals are kind of like top tier here.
So,
because
but Mizzou is a state school. What's their emphasis?
They're more known for journalism. Like I like like there are some things. Every school, like even at KU, like I went to a state school. Our school was known for engineering.
Each school has
our engineering. There'll be like a hard program.
Yep.
So it's school, even that's your credential. So
you have to still get into that program within the school.
I don't think you can put each college.
But then when you get to Harvard, it's like this. You get damn near, if you just utter their name, people just think you're a brilliant genius.
No, exactly.
It's like, I could have been there. I could have been there for theater.
Yeah.
Exactly. I could have been a theater major. And people will think I'm brilliant because I went to Harvard.
But if you went to Harvard for IT, I'm looking at you crazy. But
somebody did though, Jay. Somebody did go to Harvard.
They may have a good program there.
It's because of how hard the process is to get in.
Yes.
So therefore, obviously, it's like this, man. When we go back to even sports, if you're on some like top tier, if you're at like some of these select camps and you play for the top tier AAU teams, that means you're probably one of the best players in your whole area.
Scottie Pippen coming out.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And so you're probably one of the best players in your whole area. It's the same when it comes down to academia. When you go to a school like MIT, that means you probably have the best test scores, you have the best GPA, you have the best everything, and most people in your whole state for sure.
Or you have an extremely strong network.
Or your family is like the Bushes or something. You know what I mean? Some political.
They press the button and you're there. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I'm saying that to the point of that's a subset. That's a small amount of people. That's not really the larger set. The larger set is going to these regular colleges out there or these state colleges out there, right? That offer education, but I'm be real with you. Like, if I got Joe Schmo that had an undergrad degree and he has the credentials, but I got this other gentleman, and and Joe Schmo too, Billy, let's say he has maybe a degree from a even smaller school, right? But he's just more hungry to prove himself because he has a little bit of that chip, right? Because he's trying to go after the same job as Joe Schmo.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Listen. I believe that's when it comes down to the individual, and I think that, like what Thomas said, we're saying the same thing, but there are difference. There are differences.
Yeah.
To where I just think that like a lot of times success is in the individual, because I do know people. I mean, directly people who went to some of these Ivy League, like Harvard, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, I wasn't like the top tier person in high school or college or anything like that, academic wise, but I do better than them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of people who do better. I know people who didn't even go to college and do shit, and they do better than these people. And it's just, they do okay, but it's not what you think. It's not like, oh, I went to Harvard and I'm just guaranteed just like lavish lifestyle.
No.
You know what I mean? That's not
book
it.
smarts does not equal out to
Boom.
street smarts.
That's it.
Like, is this, and then I'm not even just street smart, just like basic entrepreneurship,
common sense
skills,
a lot of times,
which is more common sense. Shout out to my pops, man. He went to WashU. Shout out to him. But
it's a great school, great institution.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I will say this, man. I challenge anyone to say that you have to go to college to be the smartest person. Some of the smartest developers you know out there have the most unorthodox backgrounds, or they did not have any,
they didn't have any of it.
Any schooling. And they're some of the smartest people you will ever see. And some of the smartest ones didn't even have any schooling. And it's like they're just gifted. Like some people, it's just so accessible at this point in time. I don't got to go to school to learn how to program. At this point, I just really don't got to go to school to learn how to program. Like if you know algebra, you have you don't know everything about programming, but you have a basic understanding of expressions, right? So I'm saying this to say, like, some of these things is like fundamental into like what you go about and do.
So you're telling me we'll never use calculus?
Yeah, I know. A cosine of
you'll use some trigonometry.
Will you
construction
use?
and stuff like
No,
that.
you do.
You use that.
No, you do, and
Architecture,
and that's my point. Listen,
you use some of that.
I think
You don't
architecture.
You don't think you're using it when you're doing that shit, but when
you'll use it
when you're putting up drywall
Yeah.
and doing baseboards and
Yeah.
shit. You're doing angles.
You're doing angles. You're doing fractions.
Yup.
Fractions coming heavy there.
When you're measuring shit,
Yeah.
fractions, all
People,
that.
yeah.
crap.
Construction look at you crazy.
What about physics?
You don't know 1/8? Like what?
right?
Physics comes in, right? Physics.
Yeah, physics. But like
if you're
these,
look,
yeah,
what you even call them? A physician, a physicist.
no, hey, man, shout out to them.
Man, they ain't making no
No,
money.
hey, no, stop
Not
that.
no more.
Shout out to them. Shout
Yeah,
out.
shout out to
we
a
figured
physicist.
everything out already.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey,
Thank you
nuclear
for having a
dyna-
worthless degree.
Hey,
Gravity, boom,
no,
done.
nuclear
right?
dynamics. Man, it's all relative.
Okay, what about a person who look, and this is very challenging.
Uh-huh.
Hey guys, I have a master's in mathematics from MIT. Do
Amazing.
you know how fucking challenging it is? How much money I'm gonna make when I get out?
What
Tell
you
me.
gonna do? Be a mathematician?
I don't know what the fuck. I guess go teach a university. That's all I can do, right?
But that's the
I do
part.
math.
That's all I
for a
can
living.
do.
Okay, let me ask you
What
that.
job am I gonna do?
Let me ask you that.
I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
That's the part. It's hard for me to understand the concept of how can you be like the people that's into the getting degrees. It's extremely hard for me to understand that. Like, no, I can't just get a bachelor. That's basic. I got to get a master's and I got to get my PhD because I want my doctorate. I want to be doctor. Blah blah blah. Look, I'm not saying shout out to you if you did it. Cool, whatever.
I'm just gonna get awarded one because I'm so fucking powerful.
But what
You
does
know what I'm
that?
saying?
What does that
I'm
mean?
gonna be a doctor because you made me one.
I'm just yeah, they're gonna be like, hey, Wash U's gonna be like, yeah, we have Ashley Booker here. We're gonna reward him as a honorary doctor. And I'm like,
Doctor Booker to you.
Dr. Booker to you guys.
Until they take it away because you went to that October Halloween freak off. And
I'm like, Puffy.
We always got to bring Diddy into
Goddamn,
it.
Puffy.
AI and Diddy. That's what we talk about on Musing Around. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking Puffy
AI
strikes
and
again.
oh,
He crept in this episode.
He did.
That
I love
motherfucker.
it.
Free education.
What's the news with him now? He's trying to get out.
Oh, you trying to dive into it?
Yeah.
You trying to-
Okay,
What's the update?
Oh,
don't
what's
let
the
me with a
update,
good time.
Dr.
let's speak
Booker?
on that. Let's speak on that. I have an update.
Look at him.
So you know his lawyer got out there and was making all this conversation about like, yeah, he's gonna go out there and play in Madison Square Garden,
play.
like perform and all that stuff like that.
Totally.
He's gonna be on the football team.
What's he get into now?
He's gonna be hiking the ball. He's gonna be the quarterback.
He's the center.
Well, thank you.
Oh, thanks.
No, he's the quarterback. Tommy, he's the quarterback.
Thank you. Thank you.
Blue 42.
Best position ever.
Okay, we stop. But no.
That is such a weird. You play football. That's a little weird dynamic between the center and the quarterback. Boy,
You gotta
there's a
love
lot
it.
of
They're close.
patting and stuff going on.
They're close.
It's
I didn't
weird.
play football, but they're close from what I can see. They're close.
Well, they
Football
they get
is-
real close.
yeah.
Man, football
Yeah.
is like,
Any of them best friends?
Yeah, they're good friends.
man, football is a motherfucker.
They're good friends.
Football's a motherfucker.
It's
all I
weird.
got for
It
it.
gets weird sometimes.
It gets weird in that locker room. I'll be like,
Come on, Jim, let's practice.
I think I've already been to a Puffy freak off.
Like, what are we doing?
You want to practice some hikes with me, man?
I think we should work on our snaps.
We did that yesterday.
Hey, are you tickling my ass?
Something don't feel right.
It's just so smooth. That's dead. Anyways,
Puffy, the quarterback for the Giant.
good gosh. Good gosh. I don't know if we can get into all of it.
Nah,
I would
fuck with him.
simply say his sentencing hasn't happened yet.
Man, he ain't getting sentenced. The man finna go home and I'm gonna be at his party
Hey,
on Halloween.
Hey, his lawyer backpedal all the stuff he was saying. He was like, hold on, wait a minute. I ain't trying to mess up the sentencing. You gotta be careful with that stuff, man.
Man, like I said,
You gotta be careful.
Halloween freak off.
You gotta be careful.
Be there or be square.
He's gonna be out by October.
October 31st, he gonna be at home at Star Island, and we going to the holiday freak off. We gonna fly a private jet from here.
Yeah. Well, we're all waiting for.
He knew I championed him, so he'll send us a jet.
We're all gonna have a come up.
Diddy looking out.
Diddy looking out.
We're gonna have a come up.
We gotta cut that part out of here.
That's y'all, man.
He ain't looking out, man.
Hot take. No, I'm playing. Yeah. Final thoughts.
Learn how you learn.
Be studious.
Yeah. If you feel like you got to go to college, some people feel like they got to go to college to learn stuff. You know what I'm saying? Keep them oriented and task oriented, and
do it.
Some folks, college ain't for you, and it ain't for you. But that don't mean you're gonna be,
successful.
Work ethic.
It don't make you money. That piece of paper don't make you no damn money. You gotta get out here. You gotta make your own money.
Yep.
Yeah. It's what you do with it and what you do after it, or if you don't do, it's what you do. You know what I'm saying?
It's who you are.
It ain't how you do it. It's what you do.
It's in you.
Yeah.
Yep. What do you think, Ash?
What was that, Gatorade?
Well, I would say this. I'm just gonna make it quick. Educational system's a sham. Us as a community, meaning melanated people, us African Americans, or whatever you distinguish us as. I don't know what the hell you call us, but the thing is this: is that I would definitely say, right, or real Americans, whatever. Anyway, I would just say that we got to stop putting such an emphasis, because it was the economic thing that Jay kind of touched on earlier, is that's like an achievement. Yes, it is an achievement. It is. But I think also giving your kids basic economic structure is the better achievement, because I believe that plays way better in the world that we live in. And I think what happens is that we chase this piece of paper being like, hey, I'm the first person to do it, but then now I'm strapped with debt and this and this, and it doesn't really net you the outcome that you've been kind of promised, or, whatever, and I think that that's something that has to always be established, that education does not net you what you will become in this real world. Now, if you need it to get to your position, use it. But if not, I always say, get started quick to whatever you're trying to do. Just get started, start getting all those like mistakes and all that shit out the way early while you're young.
Okay. My final words is
experience.
What Thomas said, if the career you want to do requires a degree, because that's what it is, go for it. If you don't want to do that and you want to get into the trade, go for it. If you don't got to put your kids in private school, I think the best thing you can do is take the money you would set aside for college or private school or something like that and invest it.
Boom.
And let that compound over a period of time. And guess what? You will then be rich. You'll be wealthy, right? Because you have assets. So my point is, give yourself options. I'm a believer in the most options. The more options you have, the more possibilities you have open up for your family, and the more possibilities you open up for your future. So that's it for me.
All right.
Talk to y'all later. We out.
Peace.